Just thought I'd do a little post on the whole Anthony Joshua fight that took place on Saturday night, and to cover a few more of the fights that happened in over the weekend. So let's just start off with Anthony Joshua. I thought that it was a good performance at the end of the day. Dominic Brezeale came to fight. I didn't do any of the pre-fight hoopla. The gloves are off or whatever it is, face off, gloves are off. Sorry, because I just thought to myself, you know what? Let's not pretend that, let's not sit here and waste our time over analysing the gloves are off, because at the end of the day, this guy isn't going to pose any threat to Anthony Joshua in any way, shape or form. So let's not pretend that this is a threat. I read something the other day on the net, and it was like, a lot of hype surrounds Anthony Joshua. He's got money pumped into him. He's the UK's golden boy, Olympics champion, MBE, whatever he's won. And there's a lot of hype and money being pumped into him. So at the end of the day, when you see the glamour and the glitz, you think, whoa, he's a fantastic fighter. Look at the audience. Look at him as the IBF champion. But let's just remember this. He is a 16-fight kind of novice in the professional game. Who has he fought? He hasn't fought hardly anybody. The only reason, and let's put things into perspective here, the only reason he has won the IBF belt is because it was stripped from Tyson Fury. All respect to Joshua for what he's achieved, but you have to remember that he holds the IBF Championship of the World because it was stripped from Tyson Fury. Charles Martin was allowed to fight for the title, and Charles Martin chose Anthony Joshua because it would be a big payday. He didn't come to fight and beat Anthony Joshua. Okay, so technically he's a paper champion. You love him, and we love him. I certainly am a fan, but he got the title because it was stripped from Tyson Fury, and he won it off Prince Charles Martin. He took the opportunity with both hands. Fair enough. A lot of people would do that. But if Anthony Joshua didn't have that hype around him, okay, he would be just another guy on the come up. He would be another Dominic Brezeale, another Prince Charles Martin, who nobody had heard of and who's just coming up the rankings. Because let's face it, I mean, nobody knew Prince Charles Martin until he fought Glasgow and until he fought Anthony Joshua. Nobody knew Dominic Brezeale hardly before he fought Anthony Joshua. So why would we do a pre-fight interview, a video about, let's assess what they were like? I didn't think so, because, it would be a waste of time. We knew that Anthony Joshua was going to come and Anthony Joshua was going to beat him in convincing fashion, and that's what has happened. And that's how it happened. So I've got to give maximum props to Brezeale, because he done what he was supposed to do. He fought a good fight. He repped his country. He did say a few times the only difference between me and Charles Martin is the fact that we're American. I'm not going to come and I'm not going to lay down like he did. And fair play to him. He put up a good fight, and he tried really hard, and you got to give him maximum respect for his heart, because he took some shots, but he didn't deliver one shot. So to me, this whole Anthony Joshua hype train, and I'll always say, I just want to clarify for any new viewers who are listening, I doubt that we're going to get many, but for any new people that are listening, Anthony Joshua, when I say the hype train, I don't believe that he's not good or he's not a good fighter, but there's a lot of hype and excitement surrounding him. I'm not saying he's a hype job in terms of he's not capable, and only time will tell if he is. But I think the whole Dominic Brezeale fight, it's again, he's just protecting himself. He's not going to fight the big name fighters. We're not going to know if Anthony Joshua is ready for the elite level until he fights elite level fighters like Deontay Wilder, fighters like Tyson Fury, fighters like basically the top guys in the division. That's the main thing. Until we see those fights happen, then there's no way we can determine that Anthony Joshua is elite level, because he hasn't fought anybody. And until he gets those big fights, so just closing the door. As soon as he gets those big fights, we're not going to know. But fair play to him. It was a good defeat, a good win. Sorry. And I thought he'd done really well. It'd be interesting to see what happens next. I think a genuinely good fight for him is going to be Joseph Parker, who's now the mandatory for the IBF title. So it will be interesting, if that fight gets made next. I think it should be made next, because now Anthony Joshua I don't think at Joseph Parker is a dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua, to be honest. I think what Joseph Parker showed when he fought Carlos Takam was that he's a durable opponent, and that's the difference. He's durable. He's more durable than Dominic Brezeale, but he's not going to pose a threat. Yeah, he's got a punch on him, but I think, that fight against Takam, he took a lot of punishment. Let's not take anything away from Takam. He's a good fighter. But in my personal opinion, I think he will be a good test for Joshua. I don't think he'll be a threat. And I think Joshua stops it late, or it goes a distance, maybe. But, equally, we saw, David Haye salivating after watching Anthony Joshua's performance and saying that, he thinks that he can beat Anthony Joshua and that he saw every single punch coming and that, there's nothing in his arsenal that concerns him. And it's actually quite good what he said because, if you think about it, he said something really important. He said, I don't see much punch variety with Anthony Joshua. I just see the basic standard combinations. And some of you might say, well, maybe that's all he needed to do. He did the job. But against a high-class fighter, an opponent, somebody like David Haye, his punch variety, it all seems very, very sort of basic and standard, doesn't it? I mean, who am I to criticize a professional boxer in Anthony Joshua's position? But I'm just saying, David Haye had a point when he spoke about punch variety and him being a little bit too one-dimensional. And I think if he did fight David Haye, and David Haye does retain that speed, then he could potentially give Anthony Joshua serious troubles, because if he can counter and he's got that explosive power, the punches that knock you out aren't the ones that you see, are the ones that they don't see. So if David Haye can generate those strong punches and he can catch him when he doesn't expect it, it's a very dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. And I think David Haye is genuinely growing in confidence. So there's no way they're going to want to make the David Haye fight happen. There is talks about Anthony Joshua wanting to fight Klitschko if the relevant governing body strip Anthony Tyson Fury of his belts. And I think, I get, when Eddie Hearn, when he won the title from Prince Charles Martin, he said to Anthony Joshua, "You're the champ." And he said, no, I'm not the champ. I think he doesn't want to feel like the paper champion. I think he wants to beat the man. And I think that's why he wants to go for maybe Klitschko, because Klitschko is a beatable opponent. Obviously, we could say the same about Deontay Wilder. Why doesn't he fight Wilder then? But Wilder is a more dangerous opponent. I think he wants to fight somebody more credible to say, and lay claim to that IBF title. So we should see what happens. Look, it was a great fight for Anthony Joshua. Good defense. The crowd are happy. It is what it is. Let's see what happens next. Let me know your comments in the section below. If I've missed anything out, let me know. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.